Students, this video is for class 8. We are on chapter 6, metals and non-metals. This is the part 3 of the video. In the previous video we were on chemical properties of metals, and we were studying about the action of air on metals. Now action of air on metals is on other metals also, like we have studied about iron. Here any metal, when the metals react with air for a longer time, okay, slowly metals they are eaten away, and that process of eating away of metals is known as corrosion. Corrosion is actually a broader term which is used for all the metals like magnesium, aluminium, zinc, copper, but when we are using for iron we call it rusting. That is, corrosion of iron is known as rusting, but corrosion of other metals is known as corrosion only. Now rusting, we have studied about it in detail, that rust is of reddish brown color. Okay, now corrosion is for magnesium, aluminium, zinc, copper. All of them get corroded when they are kept in air for a longer time. With a prolonged action of air, they become corroded. Copper articles, if you have seen copper articles, if there is any copper utensil at your home, you must have seen that after some time it becomes greenish in color. It becomes greenish in color because copper gets corroded after some time. Okay, now we come to the second chemical property. The second chemical property is displacement of one metal by another. Displacement of one metal by another means that more reactive metal displaces less reactive metal from its solution. See, in your daily life also, you must have, if you are participating in any drawing competition, right? So the one who puts more effort into it, the one whose drawing is much better, he is going to win the prize. So the more artistic person is going to win. So the more reactive person, we can say, displaces a less reactive person from its position, right? In the same way, here more reactive metal displaces less reactive metal from its solution, right? So we have studied about the activity series of metals. Now here what is more useful for us is, like if I write here, magnesium is more reactive than aluminium, aluminium is more reactive than zinc, zinc is more reactive than iron, iron is more reactive than copper. This is of more use in this type of reaction because these reactions are more common. So magnesium is more reactive than aluminium, so it will displace aluminium from its solution. In the same way, aluminium is more reactive than zinc, so it will displace it from its solution. Now let us understand this through an activity. Now here what we do is, we have taken a test tube here, and this is iron nail. This is an iron nail. We put an iron nail into copper sulfate solution. This is copper sulfate solution. Copper sulfate is actually a salt. It is put into, when we put the copper sulfate powder or crystals into water, the solution becomes blue in color. This is called the blue color. So copper sulfate solution is blue in color, and we keep this iron nail inside this copper sulfate solution for some time. Okay, now after some time you will observe the changes here. What will happen is that this solution, which was blue in color, this becomes green in color. Okay, this was blue in color, this becomes green in color. Why it becomes green in color? Because of the formation of FeSO4. Okay, this becomes FeSO4. Let us understand it through the equation. You will understand it more clearly. See, here iron, we have kept iron nail, so iron reacts with copper sulfate. Now who is more reactive, iron or copper? The answer is iron. So iron is going to displace copper. It is going to kick copper out from here, and it is going to take the place of copper. So what is formed is FeSO4, and copper is kicked out. So this is copper. Copper is of reddish brown color. So you will see red brown deposits. It gets deposited here at the bottom of the test tube, and it also gets deposited at the surface of this iron nail. You will see the reddish brown deposits. This is the deposit of copper on the iron nail. Okay, this is not rust. This reddish brown color is not rust. It is the deposition of copper. So iron being more reactive kicks out copper from its solution, that is copper sulfate solution, and FeSO4 is formed, which is green in color. Okay, and reddish brown deposits of copper are formed on the iron nail. So this is a complete reaction. This copper sulfate CuSO4, actually the crystals of copper sulfate have 5 molecules of water, and it is the common name of it is blue vitriol. This is also there, vitriol. Okay, blue vitriol, right? So this is known as blue vitriol. Copper sulfate is blue in color, right? So it becomes green. Copper sulfate becomes green because of the formation of ferrous sulfate. This iron sulfate is green in color, right? Now after this we have, this is displacement of one metal by another, that is more reactive metal displaces less reactive metal from its solution. In the same way, if we have aluminium, okay, aluminium is reacting with copper sulfate, then also aluminium is more reactive, so aluminium will kick out this copper from here and aluminium sulfate is formed. Okay, if the reaction is with zinc, then zinc is also more reactive than copper, so it will displace this copper from here and zinc sulfate is formed. Okay, so all these reactions are there. Now we come to displacement of hydrogen from water. This is the next chemical property, displacement of hydrogen from water. Metals that are above hydrogen in the activity series, they are going to displace hydrogen from water. For example, if we talk about sodium, sodium is naturally a very highly reactive metal. If it reacts with water, if you are keeping it in water, okay, we have studied that it is kept in kerosene. Why it is kept in kerosene? Because it is highly reactive metal, it can catch fire in water, and even if you are taking it out from kerosene, then also it can catch fire because it reacts with oxygen, right? So here what we do is, here we are doing one activity. What we do is we cut a piece of sodium. Why can we cut a piece of sodium? Because it is very soft. So what we are doing is we cut a piece of sodium, okay, and remove it from kerosene. Okay, naturally it is stored in kerosene, so we remove it from the kerosene and we press it in between the folds of the filter paper. Why do we press it in the folds of filter paper? So that all the kerosene which is there, that is absorbed, okay, and we have only the piece of sodium. Now what we do is we drop it in a trough of water. This is a container, a trough of water. This is containing water, and we drop a piece of, this is your sodium piece, a very small piece of sodium. We put it in trough of water. Now what will happen is, it is going to melt and it will form a silvery white globule. Globule is a type of small silvery white ball is formed in the beginning with a hissing sound. Okay, and that sound is there, hissing sound you can hear. We will observe that after some time what will happen, a yellow flame is formed over that globule or the silver ball. Yellow flame is formed, and we can hear also the pop sound. Why do we hear a pop sound? Because the heat evolved during this process, because we have said that we know that sodium is a highly reactive metal, so it is going to turn into a yellow flame, and the heat evolved in this. This melts the metal, and the hydrogen produced here catches fire and it burns with a pop sound. Okay, so what is the reaction here is, let us see the reaction. Sodium reacts with water and forms. Now after what is left here, when the reaction is over, what is left here is sodium will react with water and it will form sodium hydroxide, NaOH, plus hydrogen gases evolved. This is very important. Here hydrogen gases evolved. 2 sodium reacts with 2 water molecules and it will form 2 sodium hydroxide plus hydrogen gases evolved, and this sodium hydroxide is actually a base, And if you want to find out that whether a base is formed or not, we can do a litmus test. Let me tell you that litmus paper is used for testing that whether something is acidic or basic. You must have read about it. Now here this, if we put the litmus paper in this trough where sodium hydroxide was formed, we will see that the red litmus paper turns to blue, showing that it is an alkali formed or it is a base formed. Okay, so this is after reaction, NaOH is formed and red litmus turns blue, so we come to know that this is a base, that is NaOH is formed. Now magnesium naturally is less reactive than sodium, so naturally the reaction will not be very vigorous, and magnesium this sodium can react, sodium and potassium, they react very fast, and even with the cold water they will react. This is the cold water which we have taken in the trough here. Okay, so sodium and potassium, they can react even with the cold water, and they react very fast, very vigorously. Okay, but for other metals the reaction is not very fast, and magnesium you need to react it with steam. So when you react it with steam, what is formed is again magnesium oxide plus hydrogen gas is evolved. This is a reaction with steam. Magnesium reacts with steam and magnesium oxide is formed and hydrogen gas is evolved in the reaction. Okay, so these are how the metals react, how the displacement of hydrogen. Actually, how is hydrogen displacing? Here sodium is more reactive than hydrogen, so it is displacing this hydrogen from water and sodium hydroxide is formed. Here also in this reaction magnesium is more reactive than hydrogen, so it is displacing hydrogen from water and magnesium oxide is formed. This hydrogen is displaced. That is, these metals are more reactive than hydrogen, so they will kick this hydrogen from water and take its place, and these oxides are formed. Oxide or hydroxide are formed. Okay, then we come to the next reaction, that is displacement of hydrogen from acids. Now metals above hydrogen displace hydrogen from dilute acids, maybe dilute HCl or dilute H2SO4. Okay, and but naturally those which are below hydrogen will not be able to displace hydrogen from acids, from the dilute acids. Let us see the reaction, then you will understand it. This is like sodium. When sodium reacts with HCl, this is dilute HCl, then what is formed is naturally sodium is more reactive than hydrogen, so again displacement of more reactive element, more reactive element is going to displace less reactive element from its solution. So here also sodium is more reactive, so it will displace hydrogen from its solution. This acid is actually a solution only. So this hydrogen is displaced, and what is formed is NaCl plus hydrogen is evolved, and this NaCl solution is colorless. This is colorless. Okay, this is the equation. 2Na plus 2HCl will form 2NaCl plus H2. Okay, let us look at another equation, another reaction. Magnesium when reacts with dilute H2SO4. Again magnesium comes higher in the reactivity series, above in the reactivity series. So magnesium displaces this hydrogen, it kicks out this hydrogen from the dilute acid, and what is formed is magnesium sulfate solution is formed, and this is again a colorless solution. Plus hydrogen gases evolved during this reaction. Then another one is like iron. Iron, if it reacts with dilute acid, then again iron is more reactive than hydrogen, so hydrogen will be displaced, and what is formed is FeSO4 plus hydrogen. Here you can see the color change because FeSO4 is green in color. This is green in color. So FeSO4 solution is green in color. So you can observe the change in the color, and we come to know that iron is more reactive than hydrogen. So it naturally sulfuric acid is colorless. So when you will see the change in the color, that it becomes green in color, you can easily observe that this displacement has taken place. Okay. Now if we talk about copper and silver, copper and silver don't react with, even copper doesn't react. Copper is also very less reactive metal. so it also doesn't react with acid. Even gold does not react with acid. All of them are least reactive metals. So according to the activity series, you will understand that more reactive metals will react very fast, okay, and if the reaction is not taking place, it means they are less reactive metals. Now we come to the reaction with bases. Now when the metals react with bases, there are few reactions which are there. Basically with aluminium, the reactions are not in your syllabus, but only the names are there. So when aluminium reacts with potassium hydroxide, KOH, okay, what is formed is potassium aluminate is formed. Potassium aluminate is the name of the salt. Potassium aluminate is formed plus hydrogen gas is evolved. Okay, you don't have to learn the equation for this, but you should know the name of the salt. Potassium aluminate is formed. This is a reaction with base. Okay, metals when react with base, again hydrogen gas is evolved, same as with acids. Okay, then another is like if zinc is there, zinc reacts with sodium hydroxide, NaOH, then what is formed is sodium aluminate. You should know sodium zincate is formed plus hydrogen gas is evolved. So sodium zincate is formed. This is a salt which is formed. Okay, then only some metals actually react with alkalis and liberate hydrogen. So we have not many reactions in this, and you should remember only the names of these salts, and you should know that hydrogen gas is formed when metals react with a base. This is all about the chemical properties of metals. Okay, we'll study rest of the things in the next video.